how did y'all start to meet one another? Was it something that kind of happened in different stages over time? Were there people that introduced you to one another because they thought you should do some crazy shit and make an EP together? How did this start to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it happened in stages over time. I've known Paulina for like 2 or 3 years now. I was working on my debut EP at the time, and I was looking for vocalists, and I stumbled across her, and I was like, this girl is fucking dope. I hit her up, and I was like, yeah, we should make music together. So we worked on 2 tracks. One was called Haunted, and one was Burn, which to date is like one of my favorite tracks I've ever made.
Same.
So yeah, I fucking love that track. But yeah, so we've had like a working relationship in music for like a couple of years now. So Sus and Sejo, actually, before working on the EP, I hadn't heard of them, or I hadn't heard their music. I'd seen their names around, but I hadn't heard their music before. But I was going through my demo email inbox, and I stumbled across their music, and I was like, yo, these guys are fucking dope. I want to do something with them. So yeah, the project kind of just evolved that way.
Okay, amazing. Also noted, Sejo is the correct
Sejo,
pronunciation.
Sejo,
I want to Sejo it right. So thank you for fixing.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sus, does that mean that you and Sejo have been friends for a while, or did you guys get brought together by this project as well?
Funny enough, I've actually known Sejo for like a while. I've kind of been kind of bad about it, but I used to do a lot of feedback streams, and he used to send me stuff a lot. And like, I always like really liked his stuff. And to be honest, I was actually going to ask him to work on stuff anyway. So it just like weirdly worked out. Because I was like...
But you guys sent music to Hex independently of one another. Yeah. And then he was just like, you two, come here.
Yeah. I think it was just like, I heard their music and I was like, this is so cool. This sounds like just like kind of like the music I make, And I was like, I could either put this out on my label as like single releases, or I could do something kind of more interesting and unique. And like I've had the idea to do like a 4-track, 4-producer, like multi-collab EP for a while now, but I wasn't really sure how to approach it. Like working with like one other producer is so complicated in itself. So like working with 3 people seemed like kind of like a crazy idea. But once I heard the demos, I was like, this would be like a great jumping off point for like this kind of project that I had in mind.
Hex, give me the pitch. What did you say to these fine individuals to get them on board with a 4-producer, 4-track EP, you crazy nut? I can't believe you've had this idea for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of said it how I told you guys. I was like, I just want to do this like multi-collaborative, projects. I think like, I don't know. I've always just wanted to work with 4 people at once, or 5 people, or 6 people. It doesn't matter how big the project is. But I think when you allow yourself to kind of tear down those walls you have as an artist, where you don't want other people to touch your work, and you let more people into your process, you can create something that's really cool and really interesting, and is sometimes like greater than the sum of all of its parts. So I was like, kind of just giving that pitch, and everyone was down.
What were your first thoughts, Paulina, when you heard this pitch?
I was super stoked, because usually people don't reach out to me about like production stuff, and being a longtime fan of Hex, I was like pretty excited about it. I know like before we even started talking, I've been listening to his stuff for a while, and so it's just really nice full circle moment.
No, for sure. That was like super important to me, because I mean, I know Paulina, and I know she's like an amazing producer, but I think sometimes people think that she's just a vocalist. So I wanted to kind of, give her an opportunity to like flex her production skills a little bit more.
Fuck yeah.
Really appreciate you for that.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. I love to see that too. I'm sure that must be tough. It's not something I've thought about too deeply, actually. And you know, I'm sure especially being a woman in the scene too, who sings, everyone's probably like, oh, she's a singer, and not thinking about the other thing, because that's just how it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Love to see these allies in the chat, though. Love to see Hex out here bringing light to the production credits. Sus, what about you? What were you doing when you got the Batman call?
I know. I think I was just, me and Hex had been talking on Twitter for a bit about like something I'd sent him. And then he was like, yo, do you want to like do this collaborative thing? And I was like, sounds like fun. I mean, personally, a lot of my songs are actually collabs. If you look, I think I have more collabs than not collabs. Like I genuinely just enjoy working with people. Like it's fun. It makes it feel like less lonely because I'm like in my room by myself working on stuff. But like if you're working with someone, it feels and like I don't know. So I was like super down. Like I was like, yeah, let's go. And also I've liked Hex's stuff for like literally years. Like since like Agatha, I Remember remix. Like I think those are the first songs. Agatha's still one of my favorite songs. It's so good.
Thank you so much.
Taking it back. So Sus has done his studying. He knows what's up.
Deep cuts for sure.
It's here to prove it on live internet television, people. No. But you know what I think is really impressive about it being such a large collaboration, and I mean, like, let's also be honest, like, most pop songs that are on the radio have been touched by like 17 people, and it's not unheard of for like 4 producers to work on a track together, for sure. But you all did such a great job of blending, and not only blending, but like creating what to me feels like a sonic story. Like we're moving through moods and we're going somewhere with all these 4 tracks. And I'd love to hear just what went into it for all of you. How did you push yourselves as individuals and as the group? Like, were you talking about how are these things all going to fit together? Like, just how did you do this thing? And you were all in quarantine. You guys were not like together, which makes it even a little crazier.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't really a thought out process for like, oh, this track needs to sound like this. And now that we've done this, we need to do this with the other track to kind of make them flow into each other. It was just kind of like it was a natural progression, you know, just, you know, as we'd pass the tracks around and be like, all right, this track needs this track needs this. And then when we were finished with all of them, we're like, all right, we'll just arrange them this way, you know? But it wasn't like some crazy master plan where we were like, you know, the project has to like evolve this way, you know? It's kind of, it was pretty much all organic.
That's cool. What about Paulina? What do you remember of the creation process and what sticks out for you?
I don't know. I feel like, it happened all really naturally. I know the guys like kind of all have a similar sound in terms of like production. So I think my part was more of like I'm more of like a melodic kind of producer. I don't do a lot of like crazy drops or anything. So I always just added like little melodic stuff to the tracks. And obviously my vocals, but we like did some creative stuff with those to make it like not really sound like me, which was fun.
Are you the only one singing on the EP? Because it does sound like almost a variety of voices at times.
Yeah, that's just me. We just like pitched it down or up and made it sound crazy.
Fun. Sus, do you have any stories from the creative process? You guys did this pretty quickly. You started it in January. That's also impressive.
I think it took like a month and a half, 2 months to do the whole thing.
Damn.
It took like 4 to 6 weeks to finish the whole thing, which is pretty crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, that's dedication. I mean, I guess maybe it helps when you got 4 people touching on it, and it's probably helps you stay inspired to keep working on it when it's like always changing and evolving.
For sure.
Yeah, I like personally, like I found it weirdly easier, like in my head, because I felt there was less pressure to like I have to come with the heat. Because I'm like, there's 200 people. And it actually made it easier to work on stuff because you just because usually you're like, if you're one other person, you're like, oh, I have to come with the heat because like I got to show. But like, I was like, oh, there's 2 other people. Like, if like something doesn't sound too good, someone else will like fix it. And like, that's kind of how I thought about it. So like, just having that mentality actually made it feel less pressure and easier. And I have to say, personally, for me, even like I've collabed with like one single person, this was the easiest collab I've ever done because it just felt like we're all on the same page, and we didn't even really like talk at length about stuff. It was just like we just knew. It was just like we were in sync. Like
Yeah.
That's so cool. I wish Sejo was here to drop some knowledge as well. We have to make sure we send love to Sejo because he can't be here with us today, but big part of the project as well.
My beautiful Croatian brother.